Coffee and bananas are actually pretty intimately linked. Bananas became an increasingly important crop in Costa Rica, and it all started with a coffee railway, of all things.
You can break them up if you want to in halves.
Okay. Might be easier. Oops.
Now, when you were in South America, did you see much of bananas?
I definitely in the grocery store, and I saw some when we were in the jungle in Iquitos. It was a jungle town, and we learned that a lot of people bring from their towns out in the middle of the jungle to that big city, more like, to sell them. So we saw a lot of them just on the sidewalk, on the side of the street, and we saw some people bringing them in boats over.
Which jungle?
The Amazon jungle.
Okay, the Amazon. So when you say you saw a lot of bananas, what would somebody expect to see if they were in a town like that? Like a few bananas stacked here and there, or what?
Oh no, like one person would have like 10 bunches this big, probably, at least, I think. And so it would just look like half the sidewalk is filled with bananas. I think most of them were really green, so I don't know if they were just not ripe yet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. The smoothie we're making today is made with yellow bananas, but most of the cooking is with the green ones.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, so now we need 6 ice cubes. We're getting close. We're getting close. Okay, it says blend until smooth.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see here.
Coffee and bananas are actually pretty intimately linked. Way back in the 19th century, in the 1870s, Costa Rica was a coffee-producing nation, still is, of course, and their markets where they sold the coffee were mostly in Europe and the east coast of the United States, and they really wanted to be able to ship that coffee to the market. The problem was they didn't have a railroad connection to their Atlantic coast. And in those days, the railway was the most efficient way to ship coffee and just about anything else. And so the Costa Rican government decided to hire an American to build a railroad that would connect the coffee growing regions of Costa Rica to the Atlantic coast. This was back in the 1870s, and he started to build the railroad, and there were lots of financing difficulties. It cost a lot of money to build a railroad. And as part of the deal, the contract that Minor C. Keith had with the Costa Rican government, he was given acreage, land, along the route of the railway that he was building.
In Costa Rica?
In Costa Rica, exactly. And in order to help finance the project, he started to grow bananas on that land. And he could then very easily load the bananas up onto the track that had already been completed, and they could ship it down to the coast, and they could load it up onto a steamship. Bananas became an increasingly important crop in Costa Rica, and it all started with a coffee railway, of all things.
You think it's done?
Yes, I've never seen a blender do that.
No.
All right, we got a couple of vasos here.
Right.
Are you interested in sampling this?
I am. I'm a little nervous because bananas aren't my favorite fruit, but I do like them. So I'll see how I like it.
Now, don't pour yourself more than you're pouring me, because, you know, it was my idea.
Then we'll switch glasses. There.
That's all you want? Well, that's still...
Well, to try it.
That's exactly right. In fact, that's what I tell the students, don't feel like you have to eat a bunch or drink a bunch of something new when you go to another country. You've been through that?
Oh yeah, definitely. One time when I was at the university, I just got whatever they had there, sitting there. It looked like some meat and some rice, so I just picked it up and I grabbed it, and I started trying it, and it turns out it was the beef heart. So I tried some, and I decided I'm not doing this, and I threw it away, and I went and bought something else.
When you threw that away, were you sneaky about it?
I was. I was nervous that someone would see me.
I've been in that situation where I just very sneakily disposed of the food that was just, oh man, it was the most wretched food I'd ever tasted.
I was so afraid that I would offend somebody since so many people like that food. I was like, I don't want to be, person who comes in and is like, oh, this is gross.
Some ungrateful North American, but I mean, they loved it.
Oh yeah, it's like one of their delicacies. They think it's great.
And so now we're going to try a banana smoothie. Okay, you want that glass because it has less in it. And would you like to try it first?
Sure.
Give us an honest reaction.
Okay. It's not bad. It's kind of bland. I think maybe it's kind of lumpy, maybe.
One of the main points of today's lesson, as Professor Holliday explains, is that Costa Rica hired this American, I think he was an engineer, to build a railway system so that they could sell their coffee to more places in the United States. So the railroad system that he built was used to haul all kinds of bananas. They were already growing bananas down there, and coffee. So it was coffee and bananas on the railroad coming up here, and now, as you can see, they're still coming up, coffee and bananas. So this is like drinking a lesson.
I think the second taste was better.
Then I can't wait for the second one. Well, a little bit of history just went down our throats. Coffee and bananas. Would you order something like this?
No, probably not.
But would you recommend the students try it?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, well then, you've got the recipe. I've put it there on the screen for you. You really ought to try it. It's a great way to remember the history. There's history behind all kinds of food. In fact, there's history behind all foods. Have you ever noticed?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just thinking about where foods even originated from and how they moved between continents.
What was the big food in Peru, South America?
I think the biggest food is probably potatoes. Yeah, I think they love to brag about how many different varieties of potatoes they have.
And finally, the potatoes ended up in Ireland, and then now they're all over the world. And Ireland became known for the potatoes, but they came from, I guess, Peru, didn't they, or in Bolivia?
I think so. Yeah.
So some of these countries have a huge influence on the rest of the world, very long, long time. Well, Stefani, it's been great having you.
Yeah.
And soon we'll get you and Luke together, your husband Luke. You guys can tell about your experiences and how to get along and how to get around in another country.
Yeah, that'll be fun.